Hello. We're reading from Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. This book has the classic slave narratives. Um, two about slave women, two about slave men, including one of the most popular biographies in American history, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. The other one is the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. Those were those are the two leading selling biographies in the United States. Or at least they were when I was coming through education school. And I think they still are. I think people are still reading Frederick Douglass, and I think people still reading Ben Franklin. If you really want to read one of the founding fathers and get anything out of it, you got to go to Ben Franklin. I've read different books about all of them, but Ben Franklin is the one. So, and Frederick Douglass just gives you Black life and what it means. If you want to, once you make a decision that you're going to fight for um, a society that accepts Black life, you got to do Douglass. You got to do Frederick Douglass. So let's keep going. I had entered my 16th year, and every day it became more apparent that my presence was intolerable to Miss Flint. Angry words frequently passed between her and her husband. He had never punished me himself, and he would not allow anybody else to punish me. In that respect, she was never satisfied. But in her angry moods, no terms were too vile for her to bestow upon me. Yet I, whom she detested so bitterly, had far more pity for her than he had, whose duty it was to make her life happy. I never wronged her or wished to wrong her, and one word of kindness from her would have brought me to her feet. After repeated quarrels between the doctor and his wife, he announced his intentions to take his youngest daughter, then 4 years old, to sleep in his apartment. It was necessary that a servant should keep and sleep in the same room to be on hand if the child stirred. I was selected for that office and informed for what purpose that arrangement had been made. By managing to keep within sight of people as much as possible during the daytime, I had hitherto succeeded in eluding my master, though a razor was often held to my throat to force me to change this line of policy. At night I slept by the side of my great aunt, where I felt safe. He was too prudent to come into her room. She was an old woman and had been in the family many years. Moreover, as a married man and a professional man, he deemed it necessary to save appearances in some degree. But he resolved to remove the obstacle in the way of his scheme, and he thought he had planned it so that he would or should evade suspicion. He was well aware how much I prized my refuge by the side of my old aunt, and he determined to dispossess me of it. The first night the doctor had the little child in his room alone. The next morning I was ordered to take my station as nurse um, the following night. A kind providence interposed in my favor. During the day, Mrs. Flint heard of this new arrangement, and a storm followed. I rejoiced to hear it rage. After a while, my mistress sent for me to come to her room. Her first question was, "Did you know you were to sleep in the doctor's room?" "Yes, ma'am." "Who told you?" "My master." "Will you answer truly all the questions I ask?" "Yes, ma'am." "Tell me then, as you hope to be forgiven, are you innocent of what I have accused you?" "I am." She handed me a Bible and said, "Lay your hand on your heart, kiss this holy book, and swear before God that you tell me the truth." I took the oath she required, and I did it with a clear conscience. "You have taken God's holy word to testify your innocence," said she. "If you have deceived me, beware. Now take this stool, sit down, look me directly in the face, and tell me all that has passed between your master and you." I did as she ordered. As I went on with my account, her color changed frequently. She wept and sometimes groaned. She spoke in tones so sad that I was touched by her grief. The tears came to my eyes, but I was soon convinced that her emotions arose from anger and wounded pride. She felt that her marriage vows were desecrated, her dignity insulted, but she had no compassion for the poor victim of her husband's perfidy. She pitied herself as a martyr, but she was incapable of feeling for the condition of shame and misery in which her unfortunate, helpless slave was placed. And we're going to stop there. We're going to finish this section though. And that's it. People often talk about rage, and they often talk about black women's rage, and they often talk about white male rage. Um, they think black men are just beasts, so I guess they feel like it doesn't make sense to talk about our rage. But we don't often hear about white women's rage, and it's good to hear because it exists. You saw it in the video of the woman in Central Park who called the police because someone dared to ask her to put the leash on her dog. So, um, until next time, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and be safe.